Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. No one understands how the EU operates better than Mr. Brexit himself, Nigel Farage. And Nigel today, with a series of suggestions given the EU's shambolic handling of vaccines, with the suggestion that Brexit UK now uses its upper hand to reset the balance. Going to bring you all the very latest in this report, guys. But please start off, as ever, by hitting the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss my next video. And hit that thumbs up button. I would really appreciate that as well. Now, first of all, Nigel writing in the Telegraph on the EU's behaviour, saying finally the country is seeing the EU for what it is. Nasty, vindictive and nationalistic. In threatening Britain, the EU has shown its true colours, he wrote. Goes on to make a number of points in this article, saying that when Boris Johnson's government decided that Britain would leave the European Medicines Agency in 2020 and that the country would therefore make its own public health decisions in future, there was a chorus of disapproval from the usual Remainer suspects. They claimed that anti-EU dogma would endanger the lives of Britons. So isn't it fascinating to see how different the reality is? And if you want to see the reality in terms of vaccines, I'll put it on screen right now. Speaks for itself, I think. Nigel going on to say in the Telegraph piece, after a considerable amount of dithering and delay that is so characteristic of bureaucratic machines like the European Commission, the EU is now trying desperately to catch up. And he also goes on to say, if this crisis has taught us anything, it is that best decisions are taken by national governments acting in their national interest. It is for this reason that I say Europe must leave the European Union. All of us who believe that the best decisions are taken by national governments which are directly accountable to their electorates need to make this crystal clear. Nigel also putting out a video today, making a number of points, as I said, making clear that the UK clearly now has the upper hand and that the EU is in deep political trouble, as he describes it. He just calls this a fascinating position and has tweeted that Britain has the upper hand in the EU's vaccine crisis. Let's use it to our advantage. Now, I doubt mainstream media will show you this statement, so I thought it was important to highlight what Nigel is saying about the current situation and about the UK now having the upper hand and what he thinks the British government should now do. Here's that clip.
Well, it's the 28th of January and the vaccine row is growing very, very quickly indeed. The tabloid press across Europe, particularly in Germany, absolutely scathing about the European Commission and the way in which they've handled this crisis. Now, of course, for me, having spent 20 years getting up in the European Parliament, launching lacerating attacks on Mr. Barroso, Mr. Juncker, Herman Van Rompuy, and many others in the EU club, my whole point through all of it was they were unelected, generally failures in domestic politics, who'd been shunted off to Brussels, and what authority did they have? What legitimacy did they have to set the rules for 500 million people? Well, I became the pantomime villain, I guess, with these attacks and these speeches, but I do hope now a wider audience is waking up to the points I was making. The bureaucratic commission were too slow in making orders for vaccines. In fact, their order with AstraZeneca was 3 months later than the Brexit British government. Now, I've not been praiseworthy of the government through much of this, whether it's care homes or track and trace or whatever. But in this regard, we're getting it right as a sovereign nation. So they're now in really big trouble. Yes, of course, there are problems with supply from AstraZeneca. We had problems too. Not everything goes smoothly with a process like this, which is why you have to get in early. Now, the last time I spoke to you, they were talking about the Pfizer vaccine being manufactured in Belgium, and we're due 3.4 million doses quickly. They were talking about that effectively being stopped from leaving the European Union and coming to us. But today, overnight, now this ridiculous, completely unknown Cypriot woman, Stella Kyriakides, is now saying that vaccine produced by AstraZeneca being manufactured in the United Kingdom for UK government orders, that should be sent to Brussels. I mean, the arrogance of this is absolutely astonishing. But there is an opportunity here. Firstly, because we are going to have, before too long, enough vaccine to look after everybody in the United Kingdom, and therefore there'll be stuff we can use for export. But why don't we say to the European Commission, we are now prepared to have a conversation with you, but can you please stop playing silly buggers on the borders? Because I'm getting every single day exporters writing to me saying it is now easier to do business with North America and with Asia than it is with the EU. I mean, goodness me, we even saw a lorry driver going into the Netherlands having his ham sandwich confiscated. I mean, this is not the free trade deal, without tariff, without quota, that Boris Johnson's government thought they'd negotiated. And you've seen, of course, the screams of the shellfish producers from Scotland, with their goods being kept hours, perhaps even days, and some of it going off. So, number one, will you stop this nonsense at the borders? And number two, Britain's biggest industry is financial services. Now, goodness only knows why the British government signed up to all of this without anything in return for our financial services industry. Just this week, the European Commission have recognised that the American exchanges and clearinghouses have what's known as equivalence, meaning they're recognised to be legitimate, decent places to do business. So the US has been recognised this week, but thus far nothing for the UK. So please recognise the legitimacy of our financial services industry, allow our firms access to the European market, just as we allow you access to sell us lots and lots of motor cars, plenty of wine, Belgian chocolate, and many other things. And I think we've now got a fascinating position. They are in deep political trouble. You've got riots every night in Dutch cities. You've got the Italian government looking wobbly, perhaps a general election this year. And of course, everything the Commission have done here is manna from heaven as far as the Eurosceptic parties are concerned. And a British government who started this whole process back in 2016 after the Brexit vote in the wrong position. We have been the underdog all the way through. Barney has had the whip hand over us. We finished up with a deal that in some areas really isn't very good. Now is our chance to reset the balance. We now have the upper hand. Brussels know it. I know it. You know it. And it's time the government got into action. Let's have a conversation with Brussels, but they've got to start playing fair with us. We intend to play fair with them, but they have got to stop this nonsense at the borders, recognise our financial services. Wouldn't that be a good start? And the time to do all of this is right now.
So I'd be fascinated to know from you in the comments, guys. Do you agree with what Nigel has said there? Do you think the British government should listen to him and see this as an opportunity to reset the balance with Brexit UK having the upper hand? Do let me know in the comments, guys. And as ever, if you found this report helpful and informative, please do give it a big thumbs up. Would really appreciate that. Make sure you've hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss my next video. Thanks for watching.